Hello and welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me. I'm here with gorgeous Gemini's November horoscope. Okay, so just briefly, I'll tell you what I do. I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month. And then we'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. If you are new, subscribe and be live and hit that notification bell right now. It's a big month this month. There's a lot of planets in Sagittarius, which will be, quite expansive for a lot of people. There's also a lunar eclipse in Taurus, so I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay, let's go to the board now and have a look at these cards. Often the cards set the tone for the horoscope in some way, or there's some sort of correspondence between the cards and what's going on in the horoscope. Okay, so first card can be the first half of the month if you like, if you want to think in terms of time. Time's only important to humans. It's not really important in spirit, because we literally have thousands of reincarnated lives. One time I was drawn really to Egypt. I went travelling in Cairo and then down the Nile River and down to Luxor. Anyway, I was having all sorts of nightmares there. And one which was reoccurring was a pyramid, and as I got closer and closer to this pyramid, I noticed it was built of skulls, and they were all mine. There must have been like 500. I mean, it wasn't a huge pyramid, obviously, but it was in that pyramid shape. But there must have been about 500 skulls there, and I knew that I had been working on these pyramids for many lifetimes. That was a bit scary. So now what else am I getting around you? I digress, as I often do. Okay, Gemini, you're ruled by Mercury, so a lot happening also. Mercury is going into Sagittarius, so there could be some sort of expansion in your thinking. You could be having lots and lots of ideas, fresh ideas coming up, and lots of communications, and it will be probably about your relationships, possibly legalities, because Mercury will be going in here, but I'll talk about that in a moment. The card that comes up is the 8 of Wands, and this is literally about ideas flashing across your mind. Okay, a lot of brilliance coming to you, so write them down, keep note, because you could be doing something else and then you get this brilliant idea and you don't write it down, and then you're trying to go back to it and remember, and I nag my husband because I do this myself, and I have some brilliant idea, I forget to write it down, and then I have to go, Tony, what was that again? He said, didn't you write it down? So yeah, saves relationship issues if you write your ideas down. You'll notice the moon in the background there, and it is a lunar eclipse coming up on the 8th in Taurus. Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. The second half of the month, what do I see? Rainbow colours. I'm seeing a variation of this. Instead of a dark background there, like in space, I'm seeing green and blue and pink. And so this is bringing a lot of brighter energy into your life of all different flavours. Okay, all different varieties. Let's see what card comes up. Okay, Knight of Cups, it's about exploring your feelings. Sometimes this is a young man, it is a masculine energy, can be, in a woman or a teenage girl even, but it's a masculine energy that is thinking about and exploring how they feel about different scenarios. So often they'll go out and might drink a bit too much, or, do things a bit over the top, a bit too extreme, the reason it's happening, it's in order to work out what you want and what you don't want. You'll notice here he's sitting on a lobster, as you do, and that's about exploring. It just means basically it's a symbol for going deep down into your subconscious, into deeper waters. Okay, but it is quite a favourable card. Maybe somebody like this. This could be your son or a friend's son. But there's some sort of energy that's going on between you, so that If you're a woman, it's helping you, it could be helping you get in touch with your young male energy, okay? It's very beneficial, okay? If you're a bit of a cougar, well, we know what will happen. I won't say too much more because this is YouTube and we've got to keep it at a high bar here. Okay, so now let's look at your horoscope. Now I'm going to put that like that and that. And I'm going to make this bigger for you. Zoom. Okay, my Zoom doesn't zoom that much. But it's all about, yeah, there's a reason for that. But anyway, okay, so here's your horoscope. And that's Knight of Cups there. Okay, so you'll see here this month, it's actually the 21st of October, so see a lot of scorpionic energies around your health and your work and everyday habits in October. But in November, that all shifts to your relationships. Your relationships become far more important. And it's here in Sagittarius, so it could be quite expansive and adventurous. See, that's the word that goes with this Knight of Cups, is adventurous. So there's a focus on relationships and also your spirituality over here. There's a fair bit happening here in Taurus, in your 12th house, the house of the unconscious or the house of the divine. Now, you start the month off with this pretty red triangle, which is, it's called a T-square, with Saturn, Uranus, and also Venus here. It could be that in some way you want to rebel against your current life. Your current life might feel a bit limited, or you feel stuck in a rut or unmotivated, and you think, I'm not really living. I want to live and live to the fullest and experience all these different new things, you see, possibly involving travel. So this gives emphasis to, these brilliant ideas that are coming up. But there's some limitations around it because Saturn loves to play the old grandfather or the father figure who controls you and limits your freedom in some way. It's in Aquarius, so, perhaps you can try reasoning with Saturn. These Saturnian energies, there might be no one in the outside world that's doing this or that's saying things or is limiting you, but primarily it's yourself, limiting yourself, okay? It's that, I've got to be careful, I've got to do this job because I need the money. It wants to cling to the past, doesn't want to take a risk. Whereas Uranus is the opposite. Uranus, here in your subconscious, you might be getting these little sort of urges coming up saying, yes, break out, be free, throw these limitations away. But you see, the thing about limitations is they're safe. So you've got to work out a balance. There's no point being safe all the time if you're bored. Or you're not really living. So, you can take calculated risks, sit down there and research. It doesn't need to be, all dangerous, work it out. Sit down and think about it first. But yeah, you need to bring some liveliness into your life. And Venus is here in your everyday work life, or perhaps your habits or your health, smoothing things over. Trying to find a nice, smooth, even, polite, charming way to do things, and so she could be mediating between these two in some way as well. See, there's a square with both of Uranus and Saturn. Anyway, we've had this Uranian Saturn thing going on for a few years now, on and off, and I know it is really awkward. All you can do is sort of sit with the energies and feel them both. Eventually they'll swing like a pendulum back and forward, and then there's going to be a balance that you'll find, okay? But expanding your horizons, do it in some small way this month. If you can't work out what to do, go to a different restaurant, go and have lunch in a different place. When you're walking home, walk a different way. Try to find different, exciting, new ways, even if they're small, and that will get you into the habit of, bringing freshness into your life, basically. It's pretty important. You could be feeling controlled, or some authority figure is limiting your growth, perhaps at work or in your everyday life. It's amplified by the lunar eclipse in your house of the subconscious here. That's going to give things a real big shake-up. There's going to be rumblings from within on the 8th. But Jupiter is turning direct on the 23rd, and it is enhancing your vocation or your reputation in some way. It is enhancing your spirituality, or perhaps your education. You might decide that you're going to do a course in order to broaden your horizons, and it's possible that there could be some overseas connections with that, or you might want to travel overseas connected with that as well. Your ruler Mercury is also going into the 7th house, so this brings a lot of and Venus as well, so this is great for your relationships, partnerships, or legalities. Okay, so I've talked about the lunar eclipse in the spiritual realms, bringing turbulence, bringing long-lasting transformation deep down in your subconscious. So do watch your dreams or the little subconscious hints you get. You could come up with a decision that makes something more concrete in your life. It's like you're going to make it real, you're going to make it physical. Think about it, as I said before. The 9th sees Venus goes into Sagittarius. The 17th sees Mercury into Sag. The 22nd sees the Sun into Sag. And the 23rd sees a new moon into Sag, bringing new beginnings around your relationships, which could be becoming more solid or committed. Or maybe you start something new there because you're looking for some sort of security. Casual relationships can go to another level now, turning into something much stronger. You may prefer the solid, the stable, in preference to things that are intangible in relationships. Legalities or open enemies could be similar. There could be an olive branch extended somehow. Now, open enemies, I mean, it's people that you don't get on with, and you know you don't get on with them, or they don't get on with you. But there could be some sort of softening there, or, gentle change. Mercury brings travel opportunities. The Sun also brings some happiness or comfort. The new moon brings physical beginnings that can pay off quite well down the track. On the 14th of November to the 21st, we have Mars squaring Neptune. Just watch this, because it's like, sometimes this feels like you're walking in a fog. And I don't know if you go through those spiritual times where you're looking to upstairs for guidance and none seems to be coming, and you just have to keep on keeping on. And don't make any important decisions during this week, because you might be a bit vague, or there could be some confusion. You don't know what direction you're supposed to go in, so it's time to be gentle with yourself. And also, it's sometimes we start all these new things under this influence. We can start lots of new things, but they end up being dead ends, and it's just sort of a waste of energy, because your imagination is there and these brilliant flashes of ideas are there, but it needs a lot more research, and it's just not the best time to start something. And you could have a lot of sort of fantasies where when Neptune can bring fantasies, delusions and illusions. So but it is good to write everything down, because you can research it and work on it at a later date. Okay, it's a very inspired, fertile time, so it does have its benefits. The 24th to the 29th, Mars trines the moon. You're likely to be feeling quite passionate. You're likely to be acting on your instincts, your emotions especially. You might feel quite sort of excitable, adventurous. You might want to go to a rock concert, and anything that really involves you emotionally, maybe getting involved in politics. So hard these days not to, because there's so many stupid things that happen. I just heard just a minute ago that Liz Truss, the Prime Minister of the UK, was just resigned, shortest Prime Ministership ever in the UK, I believe. So you hear all these things, and so it's hard not to get sort of sucked into it. And then we have 28th of November to the 3rd of December, Mars trines Saturn. This is fantastic for painstaking work. You become very serious about work, or even if it's not paid work, even if it's just doing housework. This might be a time when you get the toothbrush out to do the skirting boards, you know, that groove between the floor and the skirting board. Yeah, that I keep thinking I've got to do. It's because you can do this really detailed work and avoid distractions. So you can, anything that's disagreeable or you wouldn't, you'd normally find frustrating, you wouldn't want to do, now you can attack it and get it done because you've got a lot of self-control and self-discipline, and this yields positive results like clean skirting boards. Okay, so 19th of November to the 18th of December, Saturn conjuncts the Moon. During this time, you might have feelings of self-doubt. It's not, not really a pleasurable time. Watch for if you get the sort of negative thoughts coming up or self-criticism coming up, or perhaps you feel alone more than usual. Maybe you're thinking other people don't understand you. This is about breaking free from your old habits, and it is a time where you just have to keep on keeping on and be determined, okay, because it won't last forever. And these are feelings. These may not have any basis in your physical, life or in reality. Somebody might look at you sideways and then you've come up with a whole scenario about what that look means. Instead of doing that, go and clean the skirting boards. Okay, all right, so some really, even though there's some challenges here, there's some really beneficial, positive energies that are surging you forward, gorgeous Geminis. Any brilliant little flashes you get, don't forget to write them down. All right, so that's it. I hope this is useful for you. Let me know in the comments and leave this video a like. That would be fabulous. If you're new, subscribe, be alive, and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again really soon. Thanks and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.